didn't know we at work decided to hop on top of it with the individuals. It was the talk of the town. It's going down. The word on the curve, you heard me. Here in Southern California, it is hot as fuck, but it's not as hot as the other days, right? It's probably the coolest day, but nonetheless, it's still, pretty warm out there, pretty hot. But it is a lovely, lovely day. Lovely day. Let me just set this up. Now, for those who are curious, I did upload a new video onto this channel, right, discussing, my thoughts on, Black YouTube channels versus Hispanic YouTube channels of lately, it's been brought to my attention, right? So I gave my opinion on that. And on my other channel, we have been doing some battle rap reactions if you guys want to scope those out. What's cracking like in Dashful? What's good, my boy? What you up to, carnal? How's your mattress? Al tiro? You be getting that good rest now? Was it worth every penny? At the playground, on the swing, enjoying the beautiful warm weather. That's right, my boy. Just chilling. That's good, bro. Especially at the park. Be fresh. What's cracking like Mr. Pasa? Definitely up in the casa for the raza. It's great, but I still sleep on the floor. I let my mom sleep on the... Hey, my boy. Respects, homie. Respects. That's, hey, that's how it's got to be, my boy. That's how it's got to be. Hey, that's good stuff, though. Because I know, certain individuals that, they would kick their mom down to the ground, those selfish ass fools. So that's good stuff, carnal. Yeah, mejor de la gripa, eso es todo, carnal. Some Vaporub or what? Some Dayquil? I think I kind of wish I spent an extra and got the one that was 9 degrees cooler. It didn't feel hot. All right. Yeah, that's right. There is some that control the degrees and all that. I feel you, bro. All right, I feel you. Nah, but couches shouldn't be as bad as a mattress, though, I think couches are more of a decent price, no? I don't know. It's been a while since I fucking, bought couches. Well, not even buy couches. My hyena picks that out, right? We rarely have any say so in the furniture. I mean, I picked one for my man cave, the one in my garage, but we spent the bare minimum. What did I ask you? What are your thoughts on food that gets put out quick after realizing paying for them? Okay, on foods, I'm assuming on foods who get put on and then get quick after realizing that the life thing. I don't know. I know what you mean, though. I know exactly what you're talking about. It goes to what I said the other day, right? Like, individuals, were just in their feelings that day, right? They really weren't thinking straight. They were just having a bad day and thought that they were really about the life. It goes to show, what emotions drive these decisions and this lifestyle, these choices, though. But like I said, some people, just seem to be stuck in that type of mindset, right? Like, while other people's, maybe their situations improve and get better, there's some people that don't have the luxury of that, right? Like, the situations tend to never get better, right? They're just stuck in this never-ending, shithole, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure people have read up on some cases where you see child abuse, right? Of, what some of these individuals have to go through, right? And these are just the only ones that we know of, right? The ones that have been caught and, they've been trialed and everything, right? But think of all the cases that never get, caught, of all the cases that go, swept under the rug, right, or unknown, right? So you can see where a lot of individuals have a lot of these anger issues from. We're still getting our furniture together. My mom wants leather couches, not material. I have had both cloth and leather couches, right? I prefer the cloth ones over the leather ones. The leather ones, man, when it's hot, bro, it's like man, it's uncomfortable laying on that bitch, bro. All sweaty and sticky and shit. Be sounding like a fucking, like when you fucking take a cheese out of its wrapper. I feel the cloth ones are more like cool to relax on. I think a lot of people who are built for it choose the lifestyle because of peer pressure. Just my opinion from the outside looking in. Like some girls who don't date fools who aren't. Peer pressure? No, but see, like I don't know. I never witnessed any peer pressure, so I don't know. You know, like hanging around individuals. Peer pressure is not the type of thing that like people really have to do. Right? Because if you have to peer pressure somebody to do negative stuff, right, then most likely you're probably not even hanging around with people like that. There probably won't be individuals that you see as like your friends type of shit. You get what I mean? Like probably not the individuals that like I said, that you'll be hanging with. The individuals that you're normally hanging with, you don't have to peer pressure them. That's probably why you guys get along so well. Because you have to constantly peer pressure somebody to do something, right? You kind of just like, I ain't trying to hang out with that fool. Like that fool's always, blah blah blah. You get what I'm saying? Like, nah, why you gonna invite that fool? That fool a little bitch. You get me? String cheese. I heard stories about it, just that they don't end up well. Yeah, I mean, it don't end bad like that, right? Like if you get jumped out and that's it. End of discussion. They go about their way and that's it. Yeah, at least they had the balls to come and say that they ain't trying to do all that. Can at least respect that individual more than somebody that tries to go out the other way. She also wanted some good couches though. I know women always I understand women they always want the best for their homes. It's kind of like well, it's their kingdom. You know what I mean? What is their kingdom, legit, right? You guys share the kingdom. It's both of your guys' kingdoms, right? But they take more pride in like the best and the the quality and the look of things than a male does. It's because women pay more attention to details and stuff like that than men do. It really don't take that much to make a man happy. Hey, what do you think about the suppose millionaires that hit you up on Facebook messages? I don't have Facebook. I don't have social media. Like I don't have no like Facebook or Instagram and shit like that. I mean, there was an Instagram account, but shit, I don't go on that motherfucker. I say, big pressure. Have you ever seen people who don't choose the streets get called soft and blamed for not being gangster or down? Like, if he doesn't choose the life, like, oh, that fool's not a gangster. Oh, then he's a bitch. Nah. Because those kind of conversations, like, they just don't get brought up. Like, that's just stuff that people are not thinking about. Like, no one's really thinking that kind of stuff. You get what I'm saying? Like, trust me, there's homies that kick it with us. Like, they hang out with me and the homies and everything like that. And they're not from the hood, but nobody considers them a bitch or nothing like that. That's why they're able to hang out with us. If if we really consider them a bitch and shit like that, then they wouldn't be hanging out, hanging with us, right? It would only be considered a bitch, like, let's say if they're trying to act tough, right? But it's like, bro, but you ain't even from the hood. Then it's like, why are you trying to act like something that you're not? But it's not because like he's a bitch, right? But it's like you're acting more than what you really are, though, right? And that in itself, you're acting like a bitch right now, but not that they're actually bitches. Did you know that there's a certain part of India where they use cows' urine for medical purposes? Serio? I could see probably legitly, that. I mean, don't they use that for when you get stung by a jellyfish? They say that to use like urine, right? I don't know. I'm just saying that that's what I think. I have read up on something like that supposedly. I mean, people use a lot of shit, for medical purposes when it comes to animals, right? I don't know. I'm not too familiar with like their customs and shit like that. What about hyenas who? What about hyenas who aren't from hoods that talk reckless? Mention their man's hood as a. Yeah, I see that happen a lot. I'm just like, the fuck, shut up. Man, that's just goofy, but it is what it is. I was like, I, I was like, I accepted cash if you comes to Vegas and then gives me some cash, and I'll meet up somewhere. We'll see where that goes. Nah, I mean, I wouldn't trust nothing like that. You know, normally billionaires don't, care to do that kind of stuff. Normally, they're not trying to do that kind of stuff. Now, not to say that it is impossible, right? But normally that's not what they're trying to do, right? You just gotta apply a little bit of common sense, like why would a billionaire do that? Like, why would a billionaire select you and want to give you cash, right? And especially meet up in some kind of location like that, right? Normally, publicity would be the number one reason why they would want to do it, right? So you would figure they would want to meet in a you know area where it's like heavily populated or a lot of cameras are around, right? So they could get that recognition they're looking for, right? So it wouldn't be done in secrecy. 9 times out of 10, I'm saying that that's normally how they would go about it. I definitely seen some online conflict being gangsters with being a real man. Maybe that's just the internet talk. So yeah, you see a lot of that stuff on the internet. You see a lot of individuals saying that, what's this and what's that, or this is how it is and this is how that. But 9 times out of 10, individuals that are typing that stuff aren't even gang. They're pretending. People like to pretend on the internet. People will claim to be this and claim to be that and say that they're this or that. You know, shit, you don't even know if they're actually of that ethnicity or even from that area or even know anything about that life, right? But just because in all true reality, you could just type in, you can grab whatever picture from the internet, post it, and type whatever you want, and truly nobody really knows if this is what you are or what you're not. You know what I mean? That's why everything I just see on the internet, I just take it as as for what it is, just what I'm seeing on the internet. But I don't really take it as like like, oh yeah, this individual's this and that. You know what I mean? Because like I said, you can say whatever you want on the internet, but don't make it true though. I can say I'm an astronaut, but how do people know I'm an astronaut or not? You know what I'm saying? People can say whatever they want, but don't make it facts. And I talked about that in the video that I uploaded today, right? I had an individual that used to troll my channel, but since a while, I guess he started watching my content. I guess he thought it was pretty cool, right? So we ended up being cool, right? And he used to tell me all the stuff he used to do, and he said that yeah, he would go from different channel to different channel, and let's say if the guy was from a certain gang, he would claim a gang that the guy's gang is cool with, right? But then he'll start dissing his gang, right? And then claim to be so and so from this gang, but he wasn't even a gang member. But he would just do that just to start like beef and conflict, just because he found that shit entertaining, and because he didn't like gang members. At least he was straightforward, told me that. And some individuals would actually believe it, right? And start dissing neighborhoods back, and you get, conflicts like that. Like, what? When in all true reality, this guy wasn't even, from the streets. They didn't even live in the States. But they fall for it, right? Because they let their emotions get the best of them. Like, I'm not going to jump the gun and be like, oh, all of a sudden, just because somebody tell me that this person said something, right? I'm going to go and do my own investigation before I, start talking reckless. Because sometimes individuals do that, right? Like somebody will say, hey, this individual said something about you. And before even checking, right, they start automatically dissing the other person. And it's like, that only goes to show how this person felt about that person this whole entire time, right? That he was just pretending to be cool with them and pretending that they're all good, right? Because if he was quick to be like that and all of a sudden start talking shit, oh, he a bitch, he a pussy, then that goes to show how he felt about the individual the whole entire time. Because shit, he didn't even need to think about it, bro. He was on it like that. He was already harboring those feelings. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like, and some people do that. Like, let's say if you're cool with somebody and then all of a sudden you guys beef it, right? And then you start airing out their dirty laundry, right? That don't make you tough. That don't make you look tough or make you look cool or make that person look bad, right? Because it's like, well, it seems like all that shit bothered you, because it does, right? Because that's why you're bringing it up. So how come, since it bothered you, then how come you didn't confront him when you guys were cool, when you guys were friends? Then why didn't you tell him, hey, what's up with this, and that? Because apparently you were thinking about it. Apparently you thought it made him look bad. Apparently you thought it was something that was relevant. So, I mean, you didn't say nothing then. Why say something now? You know what I mean? You did nothing about it then. Why bring it up now? You know what I mean? It just makes you look like a fucking, like you were faking it this whole entire time. You know what I mean? It don't make you look good. So you don't get to, bring it up now. If you didn't bring it up then, why bring it up now? People are funny like that.